Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. This one here is April the 1st, April Fool's Day. And typically I like to do something quite light-hearted for this, such as driving around a Scalextric track in something called the Formula Wonk, or saying that I'm going to end this. And I did that back in 2015. I've been doing daily videos since then and since August 2014. But today, I'm not going to be light-hearted. I'm not going to be talking about sim racing-y or motorsportsy stuff. And I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of buck the trend for a lot of content that I'm doing and talk about the world around me and probably the world around you who is watching this right now. Because it's a tough world right now. And I'm not just talking about the pandemic when someone like myself in the UK is now in what we're calling the third lockdown, though supposedly some restrictions have been lifted. Bearing in mind that this is over a year since the first lockdown, and it's due to the ineptitude and deliberate mismanagement by the government that we are in the position we are now. Because they care more about votes than the actual well-being of people in this country. But that doesn't matter because there are people who are subscribing to organisations. One's named things like the White Rose, which I believe is supposed to be associated historically with people who campaigned against fascist Germany to protest against lockdowns and against the pandemic, saying that it's all a scam. Saying this has all been manufactured. I'll tell you what, the amount of people who I've seen who've been affected by this, people I know who have had the virus, people I've known who have died from it or died from complications related to it, it's not a scam. And a lot of these kinds of people are the people who go on the internet and call people like myself overprivileged because we want to talk about bad things going on in the world. They want to. Meanwhile, they're the people who are wanting to be having the privilege to be able to go out to the pub. And I get that. Humans are sociable creatures. We are sociable creatures. Even though I'm quite introverted, I am still a sociable creature. But we have to think about the world around us. We have to be more self-aware. And the message from an Inspector Calls, written at the end of the Second World War, written against a kind of plot which is supposed to be revolving around the First World War. That message at the end of it about we all need to look out for each other, that rings true today. If we want to talk about warlike imagery, if we want to talk about wartime imagery and use it, let's use something like that. Let's talk about the fact that we need to look out for each other. Let's not act like, oh, this is the Blitz and we need to ration. Though, at the same time, we do need to ration and make sure that we're not just using tremendous amounts of waste, especially in things such as single-use plastics, because we need to look out for the world around us. I tell you what, when most of this kind of pollution is produced by corporations, we need to try to hold them to account on it. Because the government sure won't, because look at what they've been doing with their policies. And one of the things that I'll be talking about as well is just policing and protesting. Because even though I disagree with the idea of the anti-lockdown protests, the protest bill that they are protesting against in some cases, I am part of the lot who are protesting against this protest bill as well. Because if you look at policing, there has been so much debate around policing, not just out in the United States, but here in the UK. Not only in the aftermath of things like BLM last year, as a movement that is still carrying on to this day, though people don't really think about it now, much like when BLM first emerged after the killing of Trayvon Martin. We have to also think about the fact that the Metropolitan Police has just today, one of their officers been found to have been a member of a neo-Nazi organisation. In addition to that, one of them still stands accused of killing Sarah Everard, and the Metropolitan Police believe they acted appropriately when they turned up to a vigil of a woman to whom a Metropolitan Police officer who took care of MPs and parliamentary sites, by the way, they believe that they're acting appropriate by forcing women to the ground and handcuffing them, and those kinds of photos you see online. Like, it's absolutely horrible. And then they want to say that people who are protesting against a bill that is asking for no tighter controls for the police, they want to say, oh, because one person went off and started rioting, that all of these protesters are thugs. This is the world we're living in. And the government wants to act as if it's only just gotten into power and it's got so many things it needs to change. Let's remember the fact that Tories have been in power for over a decade here in the UK. The coalition was 2010. We're in 2021. And there are so many other problems around the world right now, but if we, as people, look out for each other, because you sure as hell know the government doesn't want to, because it's more concerned that if it decides to keep lockdown going, it's going to lose votes, even though a lot of those votes will already have been vaguely lost or changed in some way. They're not going to have the same kind of allegiance they once did. They don't care about us. They don't care about the people. If they did, this country would be in a completely different place right now. It really would. But I just look at the world around me, and personally, I've got a lot of stuff to look forward to. I've got a lot of stuff we're fighting for. I've got a lot of stuff that is so great. I'm so grateful for it. It means so much to me. But I see what other people are doing, and I see what the government is doing, and I see the way the world is, and can't help but feel a bit dismayed. So look out for yourselves, look out for each other, and I hope to see you around.